This video is a demonstration on how to access the courses that are available for you to register for in any given semester. This video is best watched after you've gotten familiar with your advising sheet for your majors or minors liberal arts core, and also after you've kind of taken a look at the course catalog just to generally familiarize yourself with the courses that you need to be taking. So using those resources will help you a lot understanding what the process is for signing up for classes. So if you log into the portal as a student, you can find all the interesting things that you need to by going to the students portal. And if you click on the Registration Academic Advising tab, you can find a spot where you can register for classes. Now, you can only register for classes when the add drop period is open. Right now it's closed, but that doesn't stop you from being able to look at the classes that you need. So if you want to see the classes that you need, you can do it one of two ways. You can either click on the add drop courses and you can see the classes but not register for them, or you can just click on course search. So if you go to course search, the department by default is set to all, which isn't incredibly helpful because if we have a couple hundred classes to be taught in any given semester, you don't want to filter through all those to find the ones that you want. So let's say that you want to sign up for a class in psychology. Well, you would click on the department, scroll down to psychology, and you don't need to fill anything out really. If you just want to look at all the psychology offerings, we click on search. And it comes up with all the psychology offerings, when they're offered, who's teaching them, how many seats are open, and the delivery method, which is a little bit of a chore to sort through, given the fact that we're having so many different ways of delivering courses. We're doing the best that we can to list them in a succinct way. So here they are. So let's say that you needed to sign up for stats and research methods. Well, there's some seats open, and you can see that it's offered as a face-to-face Tuesday, Friday class. What you would do is you'd click on this and register for it if you were able to. But other than that, you can just look and see that it's open, keeping in mind that you'd have to register for both stats and research methods at the same time. So that's just one way to find a class. If you wanted to search for a class by using something like an instructor. So maybe you know that there's an instructor that you like. So let's say that you wanted to see what Dr. Moore was teaching, to see if there are any cool classes that he could teach you. You click on search, and it was search for the Dr. Moore classes in the psychology major, and psychology department. So if I were to go to search again, I don't know that he is teaching any this semester that are outside of psychology, but if I wanted to see any of the classes that Dr. Moore was teaching, I would take the department, instead of being psychology, make it all. I would then search for Dr. Moore, click search, and let's see. Nope, looks like they're, he's teaching, well, obviously seminar, I guess that doesn't count. But seminar is technically not in psychology, it's in the IDS department. But those are all the classes that he is teaching. So that's another way that you can search for classes. So when you're looking for classes to take, you want to use this search as much as you can. And you can look for classes that are in any department. For example, if you need to take a writing class, if you need to take one of the upper level writing classes, you go down to the writing department, scroll down, click search. Well, I need to take out Dr. Moore's name. That won't work, will it? Go down to search. And it has all the writing classes that are available, and you can pick the one that works for you. Now, obviously, you won't be able to pick one now because, well, unless it is add drop, but at this moment it's not add drop. But if it is add drop for you, then you can select the course that you would like to enroll in. And as long as you don't have any prerequisites to meet and it's not full, you ought to be able to get into it. Now, if I go back to the student home tab, I can again go back to the Registration Academic Advising homepage. And if I scroll down, let's say that I wanted to look at that add drop courses, I could do that by clicking on it, and it takes me to the same thing that we just saw before. And I click on search, it comes up with exactly the same information. Okay. The difference is that when you can register for a class, it'll have a button that pops up that you click on for add. That's the only difference. So everything looks the same except for when you do it, when you go to look for courses through the add drop portion, it should say a checkbox, and you click it and you add it. And then if it's allowed, it'll be added. But if you have a prerequisite, it'll tell you that there's a prerequisite. And if you clicked on the course itself, it would tell you what the prerequisites were. Well, there aren't any prerequisites for writing 111, so that we're writing 110, excuse me, so that wouldn't be the case. But for other courses, it would be the case. So let me show you a course where there are prerequisites. So if I wanted to look for a psychology class, I would look at something like, well, I know that abnormal psychology has some prerequisites, so if I click on the class, it tells me that it has some other requirements. Those are the prerequisites. So if I click on it, it says that you need to have a C or higher in Psych 110, a C or higher in IDS 112, which is a writing class, and then there is another non-course prerequisite, which is that you have to be a junior. So there are some prerequisites that you have to watch out for, so make sure that if you are looking at getting into a class that you check the prerequisites and everything to make sure that you can get into that class. Something else that you might see, and let me see if I can show you this. Something else that you might see is that for stats and research methods, so if I click on research methods, it says that there's a course prerequisite and that there's a co-requisite course, meaning that you have to take one of these two courses at the same time, and this other course is stats class. So make sure that when you're looking for courses, you look at the prerequisites to make sure that you meet them. Now, obviously, you also want to make sure that it fits your schedule to make sure that you can fit it in, but you have to look for other things besides just whether or not it fits in. So that's just a broad overview of how to register for classes. If you are looking at your advising sheet and kind of checking off when classes are available and when you can take them and when you have already taken them, if you do that at the same time looking at your courses here, you'll be in really good shape because you'll have a good outline for what you can expect to be taking over the next several semesters. In each spring semester, you can register for the next entire academic year. So that gives you a leg up being able to plan for 2 semesters ahead. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your advisors. Sometimes things like ILTs are difficult to track down to see when they're available. Generally, ILTs begin in May. So if you see a class that begins in May, it's usually an ILT. If you have any questions on that, though, you can certainly reach out to any of your advisors.